Welcome back, everyone. President Bola Tinubu has declared his full support for state police. According to the president, he said the insecurity in Nigeria is too much for the federal police alone to handle. He believes that if the state have their own police, it will make fighting crime more faster and more effective. But as you know, this matter of state police has always caused arguments because people have diverse views about the effectiveness of having state police. Also the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has firmly stated that Nigeria is not yet mature for state-controlled policing. He raised major concerns about the potential misuse of power by governors and the need for structural reform instead. Now, Rufai Oseni and Dr. Reuben Abati have reacted strongly to President Tinubu's announcement. So I want you to sit back and listen.
Okay, let's start as follows. This is not new. I made a point earlier on that since 2014 National Political Conference, state police was one of the recommendations of that political conference under the Jonathan administration. But of course, when President Buhari got there, he set it aside. He said it was not an issue, complaints about the conclusions of that report, about the composition of the National Political Conference. That was that. But when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu got into office, he, having been an advocate and having written a book on federalism, said, okay, let us visit the issue of state police. In 2024, a committee was set up to revisit the matter. That committee was led by the Vice President Kashim Shettima. Now, by January this year, we were told that all the state governments had already signed up to the idea of state police. We discussed it here. Many people say, oh, it was an idea that the time had come. Now, various states, they were supposed to submit their reports, their own, framework as to how that can be worked out. Now, the deadline given to them was, I think, March 2025. As at March 2025, only 20 states have submitted their own reports. So you don't even see the commitment on the part of the states. So now President Tinubu, meeting a delegation from Katsina State, says he's committed to the idea of state police. What will be required? Now the background lies in constitutional reform. Section 215 says, 214, Section 214, says that there shall be only one police force in Nigeria. So that's where the point about devolution of powers comes from. That for you to have state police, you have to amend that Section 214. Section 215 of the same constitution says expressly that only the president of Nigeria can give directives to that sole police force of Nigeria. So unless you do all of that, the governors are powerless. That's why a governor, of Zamfara State will say, well, I can solve the problem, but he does not have the powers. Right. That's why an ordinary police sergeant, or what was his rank, we tell Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos that I don't take instructions from governor. I take instructions only from my organs on top. So these are the issues that are involved here. But the state governors, they say they want to control security in their states if they are so empowered. In other jurisdictions, in America, where you came from.
From where?
You came from America.
My originality is
they have National Guard. They have, marshals. They have all this. In a federal system. So that's why the whole issue is about constitutionalism, control, power sharing, and also, the will on the part of the government.
But we are seeing that the president is aligned with this idea of devolution of power and that sort of federalism, and saying that he backs the state police.
It's not for him to talk about it.
I know, but it's great that he's talking about it. I'm just saying, but hopefully it will go through that constitutional amendment, because this is really what we need. For these people, like you see in the tweets, they're saying the states have control of the people. And if they have control of the people, they know the people that they can recruit, and they're able to govern their states, and we are able to hold them to account. I like that.
And Dr. Bali, you made a valid point that in the Constitution, yes, the police, the Nigerian police force, which says we all take, instruction from the commander-in-chief, that only applies when the Governor Institute is not aligned with the federal government. We have also seen police in the states being used, and federal police in the state being used to be able to go against oppositions of governors. In that same state, when they are doing it, the state governor is in charge. You know why? Because it's probably alignment with the central government then. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to cases of insecurity in the state, and is not probably aligned with the central government, then he starts to cry. Because that time, the central government will not give him all the support he gets. So I think also the case of the politicization of the central government in the case of insecurity is the big problem. Coming back to what Dauda was saying, and I think this is the thread with what Dauda was saying. When we hear about case of banditry in Zamfara states, we don't see the big response by the state, by the federal government security forces there. But recently there was an election, 5 polling units. You needed to see how they deployed brigades and brigades. In fact, they summoned up military forces from Gombe and neighboring states just to be able to oversee 5 polling units because the APC was involved in that election and they finally did win that election to prove a political point. Right. So another part in all of this conversation about state police is going to be the eventual politicization of the apparatchik of security in those states. And that's why Dauda is saying that, yes, I should be able to sort this out. But the question is, we also know what is going on in these states. The politicization, because in one breath, you want to go ahead and flush the bandits.
Yeah.
The bandits are also valuable during election period.
What are the solutions? What are the solutions?
Number one solution will be this.
Just 2 seconds.
Have a state police that is totally independent. And in fact, even having a state police is overflowed because there is almost no states. Most of the states in this country and most of the regions have some sort of architecture of state police. In the southeast, there's a Bubeagu.
Yeah, but their remits are limited.
Their remits are limited. No, the only difference is, what's it called? Amoteku carries weapons, but they don't carry high-grade weapons like your AK-47. But they do intelligence gathering work and they work with the police. There's Shege Kafasa, there's all of that. So that model you have been using, continue to use it.
So you prefer to have the vigilante groups and the federal structure that we already have in place? Is that what you prefer?
No.
Because you're talking about Ebubagu and all of those.
There are still state vigilante units that are different from the likes of Amoteku and Ebubagu.
No, I think that the state police, the idea of the state police is for them to have the full might and the full support to be able to govern their state. Some of these vigilantes, they go around with, useless weapons. They don't have.
No.
Yes, we saw things that happen in what is it? Agune Chamber.
Yes. That's what we are saying.
So I mean, that's the conversation. Is that what you're saying?
No, listen.
What's your conversation?
Please take our time to hear me.
Yes,
please.
quickly.
You have those vigilante units that are spread across the country. In fact, there's a National Vigilante Association.
Yeah.
That's separate. Then you have things like Amoteku.
Yeah, we know that.
Amoteku, hope you know, is being led by a retired military officer, which they bring some structure and training into it. What I'm saying is those hitherto structures you have, amplify it, give them more oversight to be able to carry bigger weapons, and then go ahead and do the constitutional reform. But you must also put modalities and stopgaps in place that in a case where these people try to politicize and they become agents of the governor against their political adversaries, you will be able to step in. Because that's the grounds a lot of people have against the state police officer. But the structures are there. Governor Dauda has a cadet unit in Zamfara. The other day, we showed on TV when Benue launched their own. Almost everybody have their own.
All right.
But it's just out to... Lagos even has a neighborhood watch of some sort.
Okay.
We'll take another story now.
Let me just say, the leading, most visible authority on state police in Nigeria at the moment, there are other scholars on this subject, but the leading authority is Professor Kemi Rotimi of the Department of History, Obafemi Awolowo University. He has written a book, The Police in a Federal State, the Nigerian Experience. I hope we'll get an opportunity to engage with him at some point. His main conclusion is that state police is not new. We have had it before in this country, and it can work
All right.
without necessarily being politicized.
Absolutely, well said.